We've got a very inspiring guest with us next. Mo Gawdat was a very successful tech guru at the peak of his career and seemed to have it all. But beneath the surface, he was battling with depression and anxiety.
It was then after experiencing the devastating loss of his son, Ali, that Mo embarked on a journey to rediscover happiness.
Well, he's now a renowned happiness expert and best-selling author. Delighted to say that Mo joins us now for the release of his brand new book, Unstressable. Good morning, Mo. Thank you for coming.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
This is the brand new book, and it's not called De-Stress.
100% not.
It's called Unstressable. What's the difference?
The big difference. I think, thank you for having me. I love what you do, and this is so beautiful. Unstressable is, the rest of our days are so stressful today. Every day we face stress coming at us from every direction. Yeah. And I think if the promise is to say, hey, we're going to help you de-stress after that fact, that's not the right way to do it. The right way to do it is to be fit before the stress arrives to your life, is to be able to get the stresses of life and look at them properly so that you become unstressable. And that's not impossible at all. I mean, if you look at things that I would freak out about when I was 20, I laugh about now.
Yeah.
Not because they're easier, but because you learn. There are skills that we can learn to become unstressable.
Yes, absolutely.
So do you think that, I mean, I think sometimes, particularly in the job that we're doing, because we're working in live television, yes, the stress or the adrenaline of the job is often a trigger. It's often an important part of the job. We kind of need it to be able to stay focused. I certainly do with the way that I work. So do you think that we sort of need to reframe stress in a way so we don't necessarily... Because as soon as you say something like stress, you think of it as a negative thing. But actually, in certain circumstances, stress can be a positive influence.
It is positive when used in context. So remember, the original stress machinery, the biological machinery, if you want, is to reconfigure you when you're stressed to become superhuman. Right? It's, you know, if you're running away from a tiger, you need a configuration that is very, very different than the typical you. And there are many stories of mothers carrying a car off their child, for example, right? It's an amazing, amazing feature of being able to turn into sort of the good side of the Hulk, if you want, right? But the trick is, to do that, you disconnect your liver functions, you disconnect your kidney functions, you disconnect your digestive system, you don't rest and digest, and replenish your muscles. And if you do that for long, you'll end up really wearing down the machine. It's almost like, driving a fast car at 9,000 RPM. It may be good to, pass an obstacle or something for a minute or two, but do it for a week or a month or a year, and it will wear you down, it will melt the engine.
That's what I got from the book, that most of us are in this stress cycle, essentially, because it's not like time millions of years ago when we were being chased by tigers and then you'd get over it and then you'd be OK again. You'd plateau again. Yeah. This, we just constantly have little stresses all the time. So we have cortisol streaming through our body.
All the time. Yeah, we call them a ton of stress, T-O-N-N.
Yeah.
So the funny bit is, of course, trauma is seen as the big one, but it isn't. The T, actually, most of the time, 97% of us will recover from a trauma within 6 months and become... enjoy what is known as post-traumatic growth. Believe it or not, you become stronger and better and happier, right? It's the ONN, we call them obsessions, noise and nuisances. So obsessions and noise are self-generated. They are those big scripts that you tell yourself when you were 6 and then you hold on to them and think about them over and over. Or noise, just walking out of the house in the morning and you look at the mirror and you go like, oh, you're still bald. Like, come on, why that little comment, right?
Yeah.
And then the noise, and believe it or not, it is the noise that kills us. Noise is external stressors that are anything sub-trauma, anything less than a trauma, and none of them would get to you if you take one of them or 2 or 3 a day. But then when you have 20 of them every day, from the moment you wake up with the loud alarm all the way to the, commute, to a comment from a colleague and so on and so forth, add that to the noise and the things that you tell yourself, add that to that constant script of I'm not good enough. And by the end of it, it's way too much for all of us.
So, Mo, can you give us some practical ways of putting us in a position where we would be unstressable?
Well, Unstressable starts with a level of awareness. I ask people to actually stop accepting stress as a way of life, right? I think the most important thing is to know that you can actually be unstressable. Just like fitness, if you go to the gym 5 times a week, you'll be fitter. If there are certain practices that would make you actually unstressable. When you get that awareness, you need to have accountabilities. We call them limit, learn, and listen. So you have to do a few things to learn about how you can become unstressable. You know, a few of them are very, very straightforward. For example, you know, write a list of what stressed you today and scratch them out. You know, eat unstressable foods, remove sugars and you know, maybe foods that make you intolerant. Sleep is more important than work, believe it or not. And so many little habits. Once you get to that, commit to them. Find out the most important ones. I said, write a list and literally tell yourself, this week, I'm going to take out those 3. Take them out by removing them altogether, or take them out by enjoying them. If you have to be stuck in the commute...
Enjoying them.
Of course. If you have to be stuck in the commute, take good music with you, right? I came to you today on one of those bikes.
Yeah,
and I have to say, you know, I was a bit worried getting on it. And I was throwing my hands in the air and looking at the sunshine and loving it, right?
Yeah.
It's all about how you design your day and engagements. It's not the events of your life that stress you. It's the way you deal with them that does.
It's about reframing the fears so they become challenges and turning them almost into a positive. So you can work out.
Yeah.
The book is amazing. We haven't got long enough to talk to you about it, but it is absolutely brilliant. It's called Unstressable and it's out today. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Was
really lovely to meet you. You must come back on
Please
so we can
do
talk
again.
more.
I'm here anytime you call me. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Thank you.